Okay, welcome everyone to the IPGT podcast where we talk about life, games, and health. Why are we doing this, you might ask? Because it is lockdown, baby, and we got nothing else better to do. My name is Shen Loh, and I'd like to welcome our guest today. He will feed you with one hand and backstab you with the other. Don't get too excited for the two-faced Tan, Garrett Tan.
Hey. Yeah, I like this intro. It's very true.
Son of a bitch.
And my favorite board gaming moment story for later has definitely something to do with that.
Oh
so.
my god, the man is
Yeah, Shen, you're on the money.
On the money.
sorry, not sorry. She will do whatever it takes to win. Please welcome Apologetic Alsop.
Yeah.
That's Jessica Alsop.
Yeah, sorry, no, actually that works with me too. I like it.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, sorry,
You
not
got our
sorry.
board gaming personalities down.
Yeah. And he is our favorite Russian who plans to monopolize everything. You better keep yourself safe from the antagonistic Ayan.
Taiwan #1.
The Russian #1, man.
Yeah. So today, our guest and myself will be talking about the next theme for episode 4, which is board games. Board games, and everything to do with board games. So yeah, I'm gonna turn off this intro now.
Man. You know, I actually once took a what is your board gaming personality test online,
Huh?
and I maxed out on conflict,
Really?
Oh,
which is hilarious because when I play regular video games, I like calm single player games as well. But in board games, all I do is attack people.
I was gonna say like photosynthesis and stuff, but then you can basically attack people because you're trying to get the best light. It's like hate
Yeah.
crafting, basically.
No, photosynthesis is actually like underneath its leafy, calm exterior. It is a very cutthroat game.
Very cutthroat. Yep. I'm gonna look up board game personality tests as well.
Like, is photosynthesis the one with the trees? And then
Yeah.
the bigger your tree is, the more shade you cast over the smaller trees?
Yeah, you can block other trees' light and everything.
It's such a... I really like it because it's like an environmental theme, but it's also such a cutthroat theme.
Yeah. Well, nature is cutthroat. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. Sorry,
Yeah.
a tree-eat-tree world out there.
Yeah.
Because trees will actually probably consume each other, right? Yeah, they
Yeah.
do. I'm pretty sure trees eat each other.
Yep. And it's not
Yeah.
very forgiving as well. We might actually fuck with nature, and nature will fuck us over tenfold.
Much like photosynthesis.
Let's wait before we start. I feel like we don't really give Ayan some time to explain what game he's playing at the start. So for our viewers, could you just have a quick word what they're looking at right now?
This is Wildermyth. It's a procedural role-playing game. So there's a set story, but your characters change over time based on your decisions, and it's
Huh.
all randomized. So one game, your character could turn into a wolf, or be given like a set of magical powers. It's based on your choices, and the combat's tactics based, like a typical role-playing game.
Cool.
I'm loving it already. Has XCOM feels to it with a bit of roguelike element.
God damn. Shen's favorite board game is actually not a board game, it's XCOM.
Wouldn't that be a board, like if you put it on a table and like old board games, it sort of is a board game in that sense.
Yeah.
100%. Like XCOM is the original Gloomhaven, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the original XCOM is Wasteland.
Wasteland? Did Wasteland come out before? Yeah, I guess it would. Wasteland 1.
I think it did.
Yeah.
So thanks, Ayan. For the first item on the agenda, we're just gonna share a little bit about ourselves. We're gonna be talking about our most memorable experience we had with board games. So this could be, the reason why you love playing board games, or it could be the reason why you don't like playing a particular board game. But for me, I guess like the whole board games thing, like when I really got into it was when at university at Wednesdays, around 5 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock, I had some friends who would open their lab room, so which is their lab where they're PhD students. So there's a bunch of PhD students that are new from uni, and they will open their lab up for me and a couple of friends to come and play board games with them, and they were like hardcore nerds. They don't look like they're not hardcore nerds, but they love their board games. They have a lot of games, and they just keep buying more and more, and they do not mind teaching me. And from Ayan and Garrett's experience, you know how difficult it is to teach me play board games. So
Oh my god, it's so hard sometimes, Shen. You're a smart person.
I'm
But-
just
Man, teaching you a board game. It's okay. You're not the most difficult person I've had to teach, so it's fine.
Yep.
I'd ask you to name names, but probably not in a permanent format, right?
No. I'll give you examples later. Don't worry about it.
I
Okay.
don't think this person will be listening to us anyway, so it'll be all good. So
What type of games did they play as well? Like what kind of...
so they got me into Dominion. So they were the guys that got me into Dominion.
Oh,
Yeah,
Dominion is a
yeah.
great game.
So
Dominion is a great game.
and then I passed on my love to Dominion with like Garrett and Marcus.
Yeah,
And then
actually, you're the one that introduced me to Dominion.
yeah,
Thanks,
and
man.
then Zachary as well. So
Yeah.
you're welcome. They also played a lot of like really, so they love like being quite PhD students. They love a bit of like they're not scared of like mechanics and strategy games. But some games can have a lot of board games have the reputation to be quite difficult to learn. And then it's also very challenging for people to think of some certain mechanics. But the thing is, these guys, they just they love playing any super duper hard board game. We spend like 2-3 hours playing something, and we just enjoy it, and we really really like it. There was one, I think one of the most memorable experience I had was there's this like Battlestar Galactica game where
Oh.
you
Yeah.
you're all humans. And then there's a sleeper agent or something, a sleeper.
The Cylon.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Cylon.
Cylon.
So you think you're human, but then like midway the game, you get a card saying you're actually a Cylon. So you basically have to switch sides. So you've been playing as a human like half the game, and all of a sudden you want to fuck over the humans, which is hilarious. And that's that's a really really interesting mechanic. I felt. I think. Yeah. So it's almost like the. What's that game? The haunted house on the tree.
Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Yeah, Betrayal at House on the Hill, where one person mid-game just turns bad, which I really like that mechanic in the game, in any board games, where you just have a bit of
Yeah.
randomness.
I like it too. I think
Yeah.
Betrayal at House on the Hill is really fun just because it's kind of half a role-playing game, and when you get picked to be the betrayer, it just feels amazing. It's
Yeah,
like,
I
yes,
want to be the
I have
betrayer.
all this power.
I want to be the betrayer, man. Oh my god, it
You
feels
go
so
off to your
fun.
corner to read your little betrayal book to see how you have to win the game. It's a great game.
Yeah, it is a great game. Yeah, so that was my very memorable moment. Thanks to call out to Yang, who actually brought me into it. So that's how I really got into board games. And then I think that kind of like after that, when I left uni and I started working at Telstra, I was basically looking for another person to play board games
dude.
with.
And then when you got the text from me saying, "Hey, you want to come play board games?" You're like, "Yes, yes, go."
Let's go, Garrett. You were basically my replacement for Yang.
Wow, thanks, man. I'm always happy to be a rebound.
So, who'd like to go next?
Jess, why don't you go next?
So what? Sorry, what was the question again? It was like.
Yeah.
What's your most memorable board gaming moment?
Do you want some more time? Garrett can go again. Can go
I will.
first.
My most. It's not really like. My most memorable, actually, it probably does. Yeah, I think this is good enough. Okay, so my most memorable gaming experience, and funny enough, it's to do with Battlestar Galactica, and I've told some of you
Hey.
guys this story before.
There you
But
go.
yeah, isn't that funny? So and I was really lucky because my siblings were all into board games and role playing games as well.
Mm.
So I've been playing board games since I was little, and I don't have like a memory where. Oh, I guess I've got like Heroes Quest. My brother would break that out, and we'd play that. And like we had this really awesome game that was like you each had an army, and the whole table was the map, and you had to fight each other. And we'd spend a whole day playing that. And that was like really fun. I would get swamped every time, but hey, it was fun. But
Who bought the game?
Sorry.
Who bought the game?
Oh, I've got. I think it was one that was already there. Like my mum and dad, like we had heaps of really old board games that was just already there. Which, yeah. So I don't know if it was my siblings who asked mum and dad to have them, but they were in the collection for ages. So, and it wasn't like there was Monopoly and stuff, but it was mainly really random, wacky games. Like my parents are those people that have like host murder parties and stuff.
So cool.
They are very cool. I'm very lucky to have Trekkie parents. So so we were playing Battlestar Galactica, and I was the Cylon, and I hate being the bad guy in games, but I will always try my hardest to win because except for that pirate game we played recently, but I always try my hardest because I don't like when people crap out in video games or board games, especially board games, because everyone for the game to work functionally properly, everyone needs to try their hardest to win. Otherwise, I hate when someone's like, "Oh, if I'm not going to win, I'm just going to back this person." Then, because it ruins the quality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were playing Battlestar Galactica, and I was the Cylon, and I got caught putting the wrong cards in. And
no.
Oh.
and I turned to my eldest brother, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I got confused. I just put the wrong card in."
Oh, mine didn't
He
work.
believed me.
Oh my god.
He believed me, but I've probably broken his trust. Like he's like, "I'm never going to trust you ever again."
How
'cause I
old
was
are
the
you?
Cylon,
How old are
and
you?
I was the bad guy, and I put that card in on purpose because I was trying to make them fail.
How old are you?
Sorry, sorry, I didn't hear that before. I was like, either like 16 to 18, maybe 16 to 19.
Oh, you
That
you
age
played
range.
your little sister's card, but that's
I
only one
did.
use.
No, I think I've still got plenty of uses, truthfully.
Oh.
But that's like, yeah, I think it's just people, and I don't know, but I guess that's sort of, I hate when people underestimate people in board games or video games. I've seen my best friend get underestimated, and then she wins the board game, and I'm like, if you fuckers hadn't have been nice to her, she wouldn't have won. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
why you try your hardest, and you explain things, and you can be sort of nice to people, but you don't give them the world, I guess, in a board game anyway.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's always a good lesson to learn, right?
Yeah, that's beginner's luck, right? Like when you go easy on someone who's like, new to the
They're just
game.
learning the game.
Yeah, yeah. And then you
Probably-
turn around, they just win the game. You're like, fucking hell, you were actually smart. I hate you.
Yeah, I guess it's a personality thing, and you've got to watch out. But I find that people always underestimate her, and I've been there like yelling at people to not underestimate her, and they're like, no, she's still learning, and then she wins, and I'm like, you guys are so like, you guys like, people say that they're intelligently smart, emotionally capable, sort of thing, and you're like, you did not notice anything that was actually going on.
Oh no.
So yeah. But yeah,
That's
and-
literally like how I started playing board games. I've always been like, oh, I'm sorry, I did a mistake or there here and there, especially
You
those
play to
like
people's sympathy.
Yeah.
man.
Oh.
I basically like milked the shit out of that because I wasn't very good at board games, so I had to milk the shit out of that.
I was actually really lucky one time. We were playing another social deception game, but I don't remember what it was. And I was on a team, and I threw the other person under the bus because they got caught out, and I was like, well, they did it. And they went, oh, I'm so sorry, I got confused. And she does get confused in games fairly often, so it was like really right. But at that point in time, she wasn't, and she was playing us, even though. And I was just really thankful though to be on her team at that point. That I wasn't one of the people being screwed over. Social deception games, they mess with you.
Well, they bring out a different side to everybody. And it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I love playing a social deception game with like a new group of people. Just
Yeah.
to get
Ah.
everyone kind of, out of their shell, getting to know each other and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a really good experience, I think.
it's a
Yeah.
really good icebreaker, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Garrett, your turn?
All right. So I have two lined up, but since you guys have both gone with social deception games, I'll go for the one that doesn't involve a social deception game.
Fair enough.
So we were at PAX one year, and this is like, after we've all learned how to play board games. I've been playing board games for a while. And my friends are one of our friends, George, was visiting town. He's like, he lives in Canada, and George, we all love George. He's a sweetie. We've known him since high school. He's a family friend and everything. He's great to play games with. And we picked this random game. I've been trying to search for it for the last 20 minutes unsuccessfully, the name of it. But it's basically an asymmetrical game. Like one person's a demon, and the other four people are exorcists trying to exorcise the demon. And it's a card game where you all have cards, you play cards, and you have objectives and everything. But that's not like the game isn't important. I explained the rules to everybody, and George randomly gets selected to be the demon. And he goes, guys, just give me like 5 minutes to come up with a demon name. And we're like, what? Okay, man. He goes away for like 5 minutes and comes back and puts on this voice. He goes, hello, mortals. My name is Angelon the Demon. And he spends the rest of the game just role playing this like, Powerpuff Girls hymn style kind of gay demon.
Oh yeah.
While foiling us. He's like, you won't believe the next trick I have up my sleeve. And it was the most amazing experience. We're all like cracking up laughing, but at the same time, it's like, Angelon, why? Why? And I just love that board games which give you that opportunity to just role play a little bit, get lost into the board game, goof around with your friends and everything.
Good point. It
It's a
does.
good
It
time.
lets people be free for a bit, yeah, and not social constraints, I guess.
Yeah.
Get away
Like the
from-
game itself wasn't that great, but the memories that it creates, they last forever.
Aw,
Yeah.
that's so nice. So, did you ever ask them like how they came up with that demonic character, or
Angelon?
yeah?
I mean, like, he's a pretty simple guy. I think he's like, well, these guys are angels. What if I'm an angel but a demon? Angelon.
Gone.
Angelon.
Oh wow. That's so nice. It's really good, like to have like a nice memory like that.
This was PAX,
Oh.
right?
Yeah, that was a PAX one year.
And-
I think you
yeah.
were around. You guys were probably around all playing board games together, because I know Jess, you and Ayan, and your whole extended family kind of have a table.
Yep.
Yeah.
We
The
never leave the
family.
tabletop area.
You
Yep.
guys don't, but
Yeah.
the first time I went with Shen to PAX, actually, it was really nice. Like, we were out, getting tired, exploring the games, the board games. We would always like come back to your table when we were tired, just to have a break
Yeah.
and play some board games with you
Yeah,
guys.
exactly. I think that's why, because we've got like a, it's like the wall. You have to leave someone there to hold the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
good. Like, I think we're all the same. It's nice having somewhere to go back to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not like we don't. Sorry, generally, people do get up and walk around. Sorry, Shen, you go.
It just feels like home, like the home base where you always return back to recover. You have lunch, you
Yeah.
sit down, and then you go about exploring, and then you go back to your home base again. It's just that
Yeah.
kind of experience I really like, and I just love how like your whole family is like so into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
we're a
I'm
big
like,
bunch of nerds.
for this one weekend, I'm part of this family.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all part of
Definitely.
Jess's family on
Yeah.
PAX weekend.
Yeah.
And I would so like my brothers and everyone else there would totally agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
adopt 2 random Asian guys and a Sri
Yeah.
Lankan guy.
And the year that mum and dad came and they played board games a bit. Yeah.
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 That was cool.
That's nice. Which
Yeah.
it makes it all the sadder that PAX got cancelled again this year.
Yeah, again. 2 years without PAX. PAX Online is a sad comparison.
Yeah.
It is sad. I don't know. I really tried to get into PAX Online last year. I joined some random groups or some random board game demos. Shen was in one of them too. It just
Mm.
isn't the same though.
Yeah, it's just a lot of people doing demos, and then like I tried to teach some board games to people, didn't really work out that well. Online, because like why would you play a board game online when you can just play a computer game, right? I don't know. And then the whole like being present on the table aspect is not there anymore because you can't see what they're doing. They could just be like, in the toilet taking a shit while they're listening to you for all I
With
care.
wireless headphones.
Wireless headphones. Hey.
Yeah, and I think like, board games are great and I love I just love the design space around board games, but a lot of board game design kind of relies on that tactility
Mm.
and having the pieces to manipulate and actually physically moving the pieces, like something like Azul, those tiles. Oh my god, they're so satisfying.
Yeah, they make me
And
hungry.
Yeah, they do. They look like little candies, and every time I get tempted to eat them.
Yeah.
But that's just not there in Tabletop Simulator or like Tabletopia or whatever online tool you're using.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like yeah, I think like a lot of like there's a lot of things like in the electronic world they try to get that tactile thing into the human's hand, like the remote control like for consoles when they vibrate. Oh my god! Like
True.
when they started vibrating.
Haptic feedback.
Yeah, a bit of haptic feedback.
That's a good word.
Yeah. But
It's
yeah.
I think they're being present, and I don't mind if people go to the toilet and stuff because that's going to happen when you're playing a board game in person anyway. I find it hard though that when people are like on Facebook or they're not giving you that attention, but then as well like is it the board game's fault for not holding it? But it's a lot harder.
I think it's a combination of things, especially with like online stuff. Like I don't know, like I've got 2 monitors. I'm sure you guys probably have 2 monitors as well.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
it's just so much easier to get distracted when you're just kind of playing online. It's not like it doesn't feel like the full experience to you. When I play a game on Tabletop Simulator, I'm like, I'm just demoing it to play the real version later or something if I really like it.
Yeah. I don't want to sound like a parent, but I do enjoy like I mean it almost feels like the same thing as like when you're having a dinner with your family and like everyone is like on their phones like getting distracted instead of
I
being
hate that.
present. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a board game kind of like forces everyone to put down their phones and they're all like engaged in like this one board game. We are very focused. I mean, dinner is great. We're all eating, but if you do it every day, it can get pretty boring eventually. But a board game, it just sort of feels like it kind of forces you to be present, and I don't mind that it's forcing you to be present, because yeah, I
I
think
think as well,
yeah.
like with physical board games, it's like you don't get even before the pandemic, like it's a special occasion to play a board game in person with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got
It
a
is.
question for you guys as well. So it's like a 2-part question. Do you listen to music while playing a group board game in person? If so, what music?
I don't. I don't listen to. I don't listen to very much music at all nowadays. But no,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't. I don't listen to music when I'm playing board games.
Shen?
The only other time that I remember us listening to music was playing Gloomhaven, the board game, and then
Ah,
and then we
Listening
play.
to the Divinity Original Sin soundtrack.
that is a
Yeah,
good soundtrack.
yeah, we were. And then I think there was like one other board game where we were playing like medieval music or something like that. I can't remember what was the reason, but
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I like, doing music that is relevant to the game we're playing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because like we played what's the theme park board game?
Unfair.
Yeah, Unfair.
yeah.
We were playing that, and we put like the music from Disney rides on YouTube, and like we
Oh,
were
that's
playing that
awesome.
music, and some funny stuff popped up. But hey, it was sort of nice to have something in the background. But yeah, I find music that works with the game that we're playing. Unless you can't. But yeah, and like I'll put spooky sounds on if it's a spooky game.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's a good idea, honestly, because I think I've been playing board games with my neighbor since, I can't really visit too many other people nowadays. My neighbor and my brother, and we just kind of put on just our, Spotify shuffle playlist, and it's something to listen to in the background. But I think theme music is a really good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like it. To fill in the background but make you still involved, I guess.
Yeah.
But I know some people definitely like we've got some friends that if you win you get to choose the song sort of thing. And
Oh.
it's like it's like actually like our Brawl King titles, and at the moment we've been playing Storybook Brawl. Yeah, and every night you lose the title of Brawl King and everyone has a chance of getting it, whoever's playing. So yeah. And I
Yeah.
think
I'm-
that's that sort of bonus. Yeah.
I'm really glad that I finally got to use Discord roles for a purpose.
Yep.
Previously, it was just bots and that's it, just to know
Oh
like.
my god.
And it
Shen,
was
you
so
change up the
boring.
Discord roles like every week, just randomly.
Yeah, cause I feel like it just could be more, and I just need to keep figuring it out. Like, just keep trying new things, just until something sticks. Just keep throwing stuff on the wall until something sticks.
Oh yeah.
And I feel I'm not sure how long we're gonna play Storybook Brawl, but like, I feel like every time we have a new game, we can probably do a bit of that. I guess if it's a bit of a competitive nature behind it. Yeah,
Fair. That is fair enough.
yeah. And for like, if we played like a lot of people were playing Dota, like the MVP of like the game could be like the MVP in the channel. That'd be funny. Anyway, going off topic now. Trying to drag us back into talking a topic of board games. So board games, as I said, has a reputation of being hard to learn and difficult to play. And people's fear of losing usually shies them away from engaging in a friendly competitive game. So it's kind of shunned away to the corner for like geeks and nerds who are like less likely to play sports during the spare time. But then with like the rise of computer games and console games, and like you think that board games would like decline in popularity, right? But that's not really what we're seeing right now. Like the board games are trending due to the wide acceptance of like geek culture. Like today, board games have evolved into many different genres and to meet every kind of social setting. So what do you guys think brings you back to? I mean, we really discussed this about being present. But what do you think? Really, what are other things that you think that kind of like brings people back to board games, even with so much console and computer games happening in the background?
That is an interesting question. I think like just the accessibility of board games and being able to kind of play things, in the real in meat space
Yep.
with your friends is just such a refreshing kind of change of pace for a lot of people. Like
Yeah.
board games weren't really super popular until like, maybe 10 or so years ago when everyone was crazy about Settlers of Catan. And yeah, God, I hate that game. But it was a great board game. But I'm just so sick of it.
Yeah, it's basically the what is it called? The gateway drug into board
Yeah, the
games.
gateway drug of board games. But yeah, just like, multiplayer games have been a thing for a while, and everyone's like all down to play Warcraft online, or World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3, StarCraft, whatever, and all your FPS is online. But then being able to play something competitive with your friends in real life and watch in real time the defeated looks on their faces as you kick their asses. That's something great.
I think like we try so hard to kind of like record and video a lot of the things that we do nowadays, like whether it's streaming to just being part of that person's life while they're playing that game. Well, where the board game, you're part of like every single person on that table's life. Like basically, you be present, I guess. And I think that's a really cool thing. And the other thing is like I feel like for me a great motivation was the fact that it's so easy to connect with people online, but at the same time I feel so disconnected from people. And I think I always take an opportunity to like play board games with people because it kind of feels like we just rekindle and just establish that strong connection with people. Because like you can talk to people all day online, but like when you see each other, you see each other. I see you and you see me.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I think another big part of it is that like there's such a low barrier for entry because like with computer games and everything,
Yeah.
you talk to your random person in uni that is not a gamer if they want to play this video game with you, and they're like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I don't have a good computer. I don't have a good laptop. I don't want to
Yeah.
spend $800 just to play Overwatch with you.
I don't have a
Even
console either.
Yeah, I
Mm.
don't have a console. But with a board game, it's like you don't even need to buy anything. Someone else has the board game. You just need to
Yeah.
sit down there and learn it, and ta-da, you're playing a game.
Yeah. And it's very likely that you have like whoever owns the board game who's also willing to teach you as well. So
Oh,
experiences.
100%.
Yeah.
Never buy a board game if you're not willing to teach other people.
Yeah.
Proverb.
Yes, a proverb from the great Confucius, who was an avid board gamer.
I think it's the same with like tabletop role playing games, that because someone else has bought the rules, generally you're more likely to play it. So there's probably actually more people that have played a tabletop role playing game than a RPG on a computer. In a
Yeah,
way,
that's
it might be a
true.
theory.
I mean, like,
Games
the
theory.
Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and stuff have been around forever. In fact, Dungeons and Dragons was out before computers were a real consumer kind of thing.
Yeah. Did you guys know that Call of Cthulhu is actually the biggest role playing game in Japan?
Really?
That is bizarre.
Yeah, it's more popular than Dungeons and Dragons.
Is
And
it?
I want to say something about tentacles.
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
I
say.
won't.
Is it the one with the tentacle man in it?
Sort of, but he's not. He's not like part of it. You can play an adventure with him, but
Just a casual adventure with Cthulhu.
he's trying to kill you. But casual adventures with Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is there is there a reason? That's just I honestly know nothing about the Japanese role playing scene, but that just seems so bizarre.
Not sure of the reason why. I know they've talked about it on the Chaosium website, but I don't know why. But it just is.
Okay.
I will have a look. I'll get back to you.
I mean, I know that nowadays there's a few like anime role playing systems kind of coming out, but those seem mostly like kind of weeb stuff than actual like Japanese anime people
Wow.
stuff.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, I said it. It's weeb shit, all right? It's weeb shit.
Wow.
I think
Yep.
generally only weebs talk about weebs as they do. By calling someone else a weeb or saying weeb shit,
Yeah.
you're a weeb
Oh.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Half our
Probably.
listeners are weebs, Garrett. Please.
Half of our listeners. Does a Kiv listen to this? Actually, yeah, I guess he is. I guess he would listen to this podcast. So yeah, Kiv, I'm calling you out right now. You're a weeb.
Isn't Jerry? Would you call her a weeb as well?
Jerry, oh, she's definitely a weeb. Yeah, my girlfriend is 100% a weeb. I thought I was a weeb until I met like people like Jerry and a Kiv who make me ashamed to call myself a weeb.
Yeah. You're right. Like there's some things like labels that you call yourself. You think like, yeah, I'm this label. I'm pretty proud about it. And then you meet this other person who is like even
Like,
more
no,
extreme, and you're like,
they're a nerd.
yeah, that's
Huh.
pretty funny.
So, according to game production studio ArcLight, most Call of Cthulhu players in Japan are women aged between 17 and 35.
What?
By the way of comparison, Wizards of the Sword Coast revealed last year that most Dungeons and Dragons players are around 30, with 40% aged 24 or younger,
Whoa.
and a fifth aged between 30 and 34.
Yeah.
That's
And
interesting.
majority of players are male.
That makes sense. I mean, that
Eh.
that's always been the case with a lot of nerd stuff because of gatekeeping and society. Society.
I think it'd be interesting to see how like future generations. I mean, would that because you know how the things your parents do are not very cool, that you don't really do it. So I'm wondering like for this next generation, they will see like so many adults and so many of the parents are playing like board games and tabletop games and like computer games like what, and I wondered if that would stray them away from like engaging with that scene. I wonder.
Hang on, what stuff did your parents do that you think is uncool?
Like what the stuff that my parents do that I think was uncool. Might be
Worry about mortgages.
Oh, I think we all do that now.
like let's see. There was something. Oh, my dad like loves eating seafood. And his love for seafood kind of put me off seafood because he loves seafood so much. He would force everyone in my family to eat seafood with him, and this puts me off seafood like altogether. I can
like
eat
that taste aversion.
I can eat seafood in moderation, but man, when you're with my dad, he like forces you to eat seafood.
No, I was not expecting that answer.
and sometimes like that your parents' passion just gets annoying. And if you're that passionate about board games and computer games, I wonder if your kids will actually, stay away from it. I wonder.
I don't think so. I feel like
No.
stuff that my parents are into, I approve of, except for 3AW, the radio station.
I think I mean, like, we are definitely straying off topic here, but I think, like, with the parents thing, it's more like how they present it to you.
Yeah.
If they just kind of do it and have fun doing it, and you're kind of part of that fun, then
And they don't force you to do it either.
yeah, that's a positive experience. But if they force you to do something, it's like, my parents always forced me to eat veggies, so I hate eating veggies. Well, yeah.
My parents always forced me to sports games.
Yeah, so you hate sports, and then that's kind of that's a negative emotion that you associate with that thing, and you kind of carry that with you for a lot of your life.
Yeah.
Like a lot of
Yeah.
people say, like, my parents forced me to play the piano, and I hated playing the piano. And it's also a thing. I'm wondering if it's gonna happen to like board games. Like, a lot of people think that like board games it challenges the mind with problem solving and strategy and all these kind of things. I wonder if we're gonna I'll be really interested to meet one person in the future, like a young person who says, like, I hate board games because my parents forced me to play every weekend, and they keep beating me because I suck at it.
Oh my god! Actually, at PAX one year, actually you were there, Shen. When we were queuing up, we saw this kid in the line who just did not look like he belonged at PAX. Like, don't get me wrong, everyone belongs at PAX. If you're at PAX for whatever reason, I welcome you there. But this kid just looked like your typical, like, kind of cool kid skater. He has that like skater vibe to him. and he just didn't know what was going on. He's like, "So are there a lot of board games in there?" Like, yeah. It's like, "Are there other things like COD and video games and all that?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Was like, why are you here, man?" And he just points back at his parents, like, "Oh, I'm following my parents here." And his parents look just like the most typical nerds you could ever see, with like, dorky outfits, huge backpacks, reading the PAX guide and pointing out things like, "Ooh, yeah, let's go to that. Ooh, that panel looks interesting." And they've just dragged their too cool for school kid over here to play video games and board games with them.
That's cute.
Yeah, it is cute.
I like it.
It
Yeah.
was just it was the flip of what you use, or what like is stereotypical, what would stereotypically happen, I guess. It was just funny to see.
Because kids, they rebel against their parents, and then if one of the rebellious things acts they do is basically hating board games, it'd be interesting. I would love to meet that kid again to see if he's actually embraced it or just rebelled against it.
Actually, the nice thing about PAX though is that there's the two, like there's areas for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll find that there's some people like my family who will mainly stick to the tabletop area, and then there's other people who will like never enter it and just stick around the game, the the main area with all the video game companies and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that was me the first PAX I went to. Like, I wasn't really into board games or anything, so I was just there to play the video games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We very first PAX, we were like sitting on the ground playing the expansion for the Lords of Waterdeep.
Oh,
Yeah, and it was
On the-
raining and it was horrible.
on the ground?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, because there was no space. This was when it was at the Melbourne Showgrounds.
What?
Oh
It wasn't-
yeah, it was the first one at Melbourne Showgrounds. That is where I learned how to play Magic the Gathering, and it was a very very costly mistake to do that, but
Oh, really? Okay.
thousands of dollars over years.
Hmm.
Yeah, the first one was at Melbourne Showgrounds. Like, there was just so much outdoor space, and then now it's at the convention
Shed.
center. Yeah.
Much better though, I feel, being indoors, away from the rain.
Definitely.
course you would.
Oh, it rained so much, and I think they didn't expect it to rain in Australia, and they chose that the wrong state for that. Although
Yeah.
Tassie probably has way more than we do, but
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like we should stop talking about PAX and talk about board games in general.
Yeah. Well, I do have a little segment here for you too. It's called Would You Rather. It feels, when I was figuring this out, it feels a little bit like Cards Against Humanity. Bad game for anyone.
I mean, maybe we could save that one for the end to kind of finish off the podcast.
Yeah. I just figured we can do this and then we can talk about it as well. 'Cause,
Yeah, sure.
It's pretty interesting. So would you rather, for Jess and Garrett, would you rather play a Monopoly game with RPG elements to it,
Ooh.
or would you play Catan with RPG elements to it?
Oh.
I don't know if I have to admit, but I've never played Settlers of Catan.
That's probably, you're not missing out on much, honestly. And I noticed that we got another viewer, Kiv, who I've muted, but I'm sure he would have a few things to say about it.
Oh, is he online?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, you're not missing out on much.
Okay, good. So we're adding RPG elements,
Yep.
Monopoly, and Settlers of Catan.
Yeah. And like,
Wait, what do you mean by RPG elements? Or can we just use our imaginations?
oh, you can use a little bit of your imagination, but like, your Monopoly, right? You have the little dude that walks around in the circle. So like that dude would be like your little hero, which you can level up. And then I would imagine how like every time you land into an area, you get to like buy the estate and you get to fill it with more monsters. So instead of like hotels.
Nah, you're fighting against capitalism.
Yeah.
And like every time you land on a square, you get the Pokemon music starts, or the Final Fantasy attack music.
Just because I would be so curious to see how it's done. I would rather play Monopoly with RPG elements
Yeah.
because I don't think you don't really see roll and move board games anymore.
Yeah,
Mm.
'cause I think that was kind of that's what a lot of them were and started out as, I guess.
Yeah, like Snakes and Ladders, Monopoly,
Oh,
Candyland, Life.
have you guys ever heard of Pokemon Master Trainer?
Yes.
Yeah,
What's
is
that?
that sort of like it? Because you roll and you move, and then you gain Pokemon, and then you've got to fight the Pokemon against each other, and then you roll and move.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think that's Monopoly with
RPG elements to
RPG
it.
elements.
Yeah. And then Catan with RPG elements would be like you will roll and get resources, and then when you get to exchange those resources for like skills and abilities and experience, which basically allows you to further get better at trading resources and cutting people off with their freaking villages and roads. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a guest caller in.
A guest caller.
Yeah, do you want to let him in?
Who is it?
A kid.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Why does he just
Hi guys, thanks for taking my call. I just had a question for Garrett, who says Settlers is a bad game.
It is a bad
How do you
game.
sleep at night?
Shit game, man. I sleep perfectly.
Let's
I-
play some Settlers after this, okay? This is a great game.
But I want to
Okay.
go. I can go back to my wife and my real Settlers of Catan, where I'm surviving in the in a valley. I got
So-
married recently. Sorry.
Akib, I have played a lot of Settlers. In fact, I own Settlers and 2 expansions, the 5 to 6 player expansion for the base game and the Seafaring expansion.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is you're one of those self-hating weebs, but like for Settlers instead of anime.
I mean, I liked it. I think it is a good game for what it is, but I'm just tired of it. I've played a lot of it, and I think like it has a lot of mechanics that are just really outdated nowadays. I think there are just a lot of better games out there, especially for new players.
You know what? That is fair enough. I'll accept that answer.
Yeah.
But Jess, you should still play it. We should still play it.
Okay, maybe another day.
Okay. Also, that Pokemon game that was
Mhm.
pretty fun. I used to play that in before school care
Mm.
when I was in like early high school, I guess. Oh no, actually, no, like primary school even. Because I used
still
to
got
go
my
to my mum used to go to work like really early, and I used to show up at school at about 7:30 in the morning. So I had to go to before school care, and they had that game. So I would always play with like whoever all the other kids were there. But we never finished the game because by the time we got to the good stuff, it was time to go to school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The red ones? Is it red at the end?
Yeah, I remember once I was like really hyped because I caught something really good. I can't remember what it was, and then we had to leave.
Legendary birds at the end.
And I was just sitting there thinking, like, damn, I caught this really good thing, and then I have to go to maths class or something.
Aw.
That's
I
pretty
think that
disappointing.
you actually answered the question at the start of the episode, Akib.
Oh yeah, what was that?
What was your most memorable gaming experience? I know you've probably got another one that's more, but that's a nice one.
That is a
Most
nice one.
memorable, most disappointing board game experience, maybe.
Which is also most memorable.
Yeah. Disappointment's memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. many
Actually,
things.
here's a memorable board game experience. The time that I convinced Garrett not to take the tile that I needed in Carcassonne,
Uh-huh.
and I had like a 1 in 10 chance to win.
Oh, I remember that. I remember
Oh
that.
my god.
And
I remember
I talked
that.
him into it, and you know, credit to him, he let me go for the 1 in 10 chance, and I fucking hit it.
I'd
And I
love
won the
to see
game.
a good gamble. And I'm sad I lost, but also glad it paid off.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was epic. I remember that.
Yeah.
All right, the next one. The next question, guys. Would you rather play Pictionary with your eyes closed or charades but someone else is controlling you like a puppet?
But then it's just them playing charades, not you.
No, that's a game mode in Monica's.
Huh?
Oh yeah, it is. I think it's a
Yeah.
game mode in Cranium as well.
Oh, and with your eyes closed,
It's also a game mode.
Pictionary.
It's
That
also a game mode.
and that's gesture drawing. That's it's a when you're getting ready to start sketching something and to warm up and stuff. Some things you can do is like, yeah, shut your eyes, or you can't look down at your paper. You can only look at the object. So yeah, it's actually like strategies that you do in. That's a good one, Shen, because it's strategies that you do in art.
But which one would you
I-
guys rather play?
I would-
Pictionary with your eyes closed, or charades with someone else controlling you like a puppet?
Dude, I would rather do charades because you have to spend none of the effort. Because you don't have to think, you just have to make your body limp, no effort. And you get all the fun.
Yeah.
I think that is the best. Yeah, I think that's the best gameplay, because the other one would be interesting. But I think it would be the most fun just to be the
Yeah.
puppet
Yeah.
charades.
Yeah, I think it would be really fun to watch someone just controlling another
Manipulate my
person.
limp body.
Yeah. No, this way. No, this way. Yeah. Charades wins then. Okay, and then I have one last one for you guys. Would you rather if you were trying to play a new board game, strategy board game, who would you rather have backseating you? Would you rather have I got three options. Would you rather have Ayan backseating you? Would you rather have Zach backseating you? Or would you rather have me backseating you?
Oh.
I'll go first just because I choose Ayan just because he's used to me turning and snapping at him when he says something that annoys me. So I trust that he'd give me good advice, and he knows how to work with me, so he wouldn't get too mad when I get grumpy.
You have to say that, right? But what's
Yeah.
your real answer?
He's
No,
right
that's
next
like-
to you.
That's my legit answer. No, because I've actually maybe I should do this on the podcast. So a couple of days ago, I snapped at you, Shen, when we were playing Storybook Brawl, and I'm really
Yeah.
sorry because I regretted
Shut
it
up.
instantly, and I've been like, I should send him a message and apologize.
No, that's fine. Like I wouldn't know if you didn't
As
say
in, like,
anything.
I get really worried about that sort of stuff, and I know that people don't realize that I'm worried about it. So yeah, but yeah, it's not appropriate. You weren't doing anything wrong,
Oh.
and I got grumpy.
Jess,
Yeah.
you have no idea how many times I've snapped with Garrett.
Yeah.
You have.
Oh my god, the number of times they've seen me snap, it just makes me feel like, oh my god, I'm so vulnerable right now. I feel like naked.
It's okay, man. We're all still friends,
Yeah.
so it's all good. And
We're
my
past it.
answer to the question would be you, Shen. I'd rather have you backseating me.
Oh,
Because
really?
you would give me the most interesting strategies.
Yes!
He would. That's actually
Yeah.
Storybook Brawl, actually, in a nutshell. You're like,
Wow.
no, do this. It's jank, but it'll be funny.
Yeah. Because like Zach is the definition of a spike. He will tell you how to win, and that's about it in the most optimal way possible. Ayan's a metagamer. Ayan will look up the best strategy online, follow that. But with board games, I guess it's a bit different. But still, I'd rather have Shen go, but Garrett, did you notice that if you move this piece over there, it activates loophole 38, which then allows you to move that piece over in here into your opponent's space. That's what
Yeah.
Shen would tell me.
And you have 6 turns in one turn, which did nothing.
Exactly. You have 6 turns in a row, which essentially land you nowhere, but you have 6 turns.
Exactly. And you wasted everyone's time. You know, that was actually one of the one of the biggest things that my friends have noticed when I've started playing board games at the university was that everyone knew that my turns would take a long time and I would literally achieve nothing.
God damn.
Hey, let's flip the question on Shen. Who do we replace Shen with?
Would you rather have a Kiv, me, or Jess backseat your board game for you, Shen?
Yeah.
I do enjoy Garrett backseating me like in Magic the Gathering because it does give me like good hints
I give
and
you
tips.
options, man.
Yeah,
I
give you
don't tell you what to do. I give you options.
Give me options. I never had
That's
Jess actually backseating me before.
I think I've technically done it in Storybook Brawl, but very slightly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't think I've had a Keeve as well. But
Usually, I'm the one getting backseated.
yeah. Like yeah, but I have had the Garrett experience, so I never had the Jess or Keeve experience. I would imagine the Keeve experience would be a very similar experience to my experience to me, just giving you like just janky options. But yeah.
See, the part of me, the reason why I only give you options and never tell you definitively what to do is so that I absolve all responsibility once you lose. Like, well, I gave you the options. You're the one that picked it, so it's your fault you lost, not mine.
Wow.
Wow.
The real reason.
So so that's good parenting style. You give them options, but in the end they fuck up their life. It's not your fault.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's so rough.
That's why you end every piece of advice with IDK though.
I don't know. My dad gave me the advice, but he just keeps saying I don't know, so I don't even know if he knows or I don't know. Yeah. So
okay. Well, that all the questions you had, Shen?
yeah, I had just three questions. I have other questions as well, but they were basically just like it started getting like really Cards Against Humanity. I just started getting like really profane stuff.
Oh, fair enough.
Like I was like saying, I was like asking a question of like like Marvel Avengers. Who do you think will win in like a social deception game? Marvel, and then I have another one about. Anyway.
Well, to keep the conversation going and to keep it on track of board games, because I feel like we haven't actually talked that much about actual specific board games this thing, but what is one of your favorite board games? It doesn't have to be like your absolute favorite, just one of them. Or give a shout out to a board game that you really love that's underrated.
Good. I wanted to
Yeah.
give a shout out to a board game.
Yeah.
So I've got
Tell
one.
us about a board game.
Wait,
Jess.
are you getting
Tell us.
sponsored? Are you getting sponsored, Jess?
No, I wish. I'd like money. So one of my favorite games to break out when it's like when playing with friends is the best, but it's good in a little bit in strangers, but you need a bit of knowledge of each other. It's called That's a Question. It's called by Vlad Chivati or whatever, but he made I think he made hang on.
That's a question. Board game.
Made like code names and stuff.
Oh.
Galaxy Trucker.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's a game where you play you ask each other would you rather questions and you set them up, but then you place bets on what you think their answer is. And it's such a good game because it uses different skills than usual board games. It's about assumptions as well, the assumptions we make of people, and there is special tokens that you can like put 3 times on your bet. So you place a bet that find the ones on the actual website now. So
So you ask people a question and then you bet on what their answers are going to be?
Yeah, and it's which one of these would you choose? And you ask one person. And it's got a system that means that everyone's going to get asked a question eventually. Like you can't just keep asking this one person questions. And it's like, so would you rather, which one of these would you choose? To be able to fly or to write the most beautiful song ever sung? And I think you learn a lot about people, and you actually learn how little you know about somebody. And I've seen some friends get absolutely stumped on these people, and I must admit I feel like I've got pretty good skills in that area, so I can generally win at it, which is nice.
Empathy powers.
Yeah. Oh, and like, what would you? And then so there's 3 different types of questions, and it's what would you miss more if it ceased to exist, and one's mountains or pizza, like as example.
Huh.
And the other one is like, whom do you consider worse? Someone who doesn't scoop their dog's poop, or someone who tells spoilers to people who haven't seen the movie yet.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and sometimes people stump you with questions that you're like, ah, fudge, like they're both horrible.
That's a really interesting game. I really like games like this, which are just like light, kind of get to know you games. I mean, like you can play them with, people you don't know that well, or people you do know well.
Yeah, and you'll learn more about them. I think I had
Yeah.
one friend who was upset at me because I chose soft drink over fruit, and but I'm like, I love soft drink.
Soft drinks are great.
And she's like, but without fruit, soft drinks wouldn't exist. And I'm like, whatever's.
Well,
Soft drink.
Coke isn't a fruity flavor, so checkmate.
Yeah, checkmate, biatch. Yeah, I think it's about asking questions that you wouldn't normally ask, getting to know people better. I think that's all like wins.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a very popular game either. So
What's it called?
that's a question.
That's
It's got a squirrel on the front cover.
a question. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It looks like a magic card, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
That's a question.
And I must admit, I love party games.
Party games, I think, are good. The good
Yeah.
party games are good.
And they
Then
get a
there's
pretty bad
cards
rap
against humanity.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends on the mood of the party and the people in the crowd, Sometimes, you have too many people and then the party game is just great because everyone's sort of half the group is like intoxicated and the other half is like can't be bothered learning a strategy game. The party games fits the bill.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think so. I think like the best designed party games get everybody involved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
if it gets the most quiet person in the room to talk, that's a good party game.
Yeah. That's a good point. Definitely. And not be uncomfortable as well.
Yeah. Like yeah, exactly. So yeah, because like in a party, right? It's very easy for the extroverts just to, take
Dominate.
control.
Yeah.
I think it's like a life thing. The the
Yeah.
extroverts can dominate.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good pick, Jess. That's an interesting game. Do
Oh,
you
thank
do you own that game?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
I would not mind trying that sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bring it out when we visit after COVID.
Yeah. You guys have such a huge library. I just forget what you guys have.
Yeah.
Don't realize.
I actually was that was part of my prep thing. I was gonna go sit in front of the board
Oh.
games just to think for a bit. I must admit I never did, but I should have.
That can be your meditation room as well, Jess.
Exactly.
With the board games, let them give me wisdom.
Yeah. I bet that's what Ayan does when he's upset. He just goes to board games, looks at it, and just like cries in front of his magic
I
cards. It's like
know.
everything's gonna be okay.
No, he channels the spirits of the board game designers. It's like, Vlada Chatville, developer of That's a Question, give me the wisdom to understand my friends.
He's not saying no, so he
Resistance.
must be right.
Give me the strength to withstand betrayal.
Oh god.
That's what I do.
So like for me, I think I go through phases which I just just get totally absorbed and addicted to play like board games and just like like a specific board game. I just all I can do is think about that one specific board game and just all I want to do is like play that board game. So like I think previously I was like really into Seven Wonders. I basically just always suggested playing Seven Wonders with people. Suggested playing Dominion a lot as well. Yeah, I guess like those are the few games I really like playing with people. Mainly because like it's really fun. I don't know. I think it's really fun. But yeah. But in terms of like some games that I really like a lot, Like I can't really pick out any. I feel because like I just go through phases, I guess.
That's fair. And I think you're giving a good reason why. So yeah.
Yeah. Jared, do you have any the most your most favorite game that you like to bring to I don't know whatever? I think we have lost Garrett.
Oh.
We have a few technical issues
Oh
here.
no! Battery died on his headset.
His shitty headset that
Not shitty.
it is
No.
shitty. It makes his voice sound worse. Don't worry. By the 10th podcast, we are going to invest.
Get new
Getting
fancy mics.
yeah. I think it will be like Black Friday, like around the 10th
Oh
podcast,
yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think probably probably a good time to wrap things up a little.
Sorry, guys.
Hello, Garrett. Thanks for coming back. We were just saying, what do you think is one of your favorite board games?
One of my favorites. I have so many board games which I like, so it makes it tough.
Yeah.
But I think one that I've been playing a lot of recently that's been really good has been Splendor, honestly.
Oh, I love
Really?
Splendor.
Yeah.
You play it like all day.
Yeah.
It's got such a relatively simple concept, but there's just so many things that you can do, and it just feels so satisfying
Yeah.
to build up your engine of gems and everything. And
Dude, the
I mean,
poker chips, the tactile feeling.
oh, dude, I love games with poker chips. Like another game that
Yeah.
is one of my favorites is War Chest, and a lot of that I think is the tactility of it. Just poker chips are just such a great
Yeah.
thing
think
to
I'd love a Dimenties version of Splendor though.
Dimenties.
Like gems sort of thing, like actual gems.
Oh, actual gems.
Not the actual fancy ones. Like even if they were like plastic ones, I think I'd be really happy. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I think I'd actually nearly go and get them and add that to my Splendor set.
I'm sure you can, because there's actually a lot of custom game pieces out there. Because there's this game called Quacks of Quedlinburg. I don't know if you guys actually, yeah, you guys have played it.
Yeah, love
I
it.
played it with you guys. Yeah, and there's this one mod that I was very tempted to buy online that replaces all like the little cardboard chits for your alchemical ingredients with like little plastic ones with stickers on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that would just be so much more satisfying to touch and feel. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can justify buying that.
Oh my gosh, you can totally get gems.
Oh, you
And
can.
like for $15 too, and gold pieces.
Ooh.
The Onyx ones are a bit meh, but like I think that's worth it. I'm in.
Let's do it. Let's get some gems.
Some
Oh,
gems.
you can.
Oh, actually, there's even another one that's got like nice topazzy diamonds, and they're all like different shapes. They're the actual cut sort of gems.
Oh yeah, I'm
gold
looking at
coins.
those right now.
They're a
look
lot more
really cool.
expensive though.
Yeah, I can imagine. But
Oh,
still,
anyway.
All
yeah,
right.
it has the tactility of the board games, as we were
Yeah.
saying before.
All right. I'm gonna close things off now. Is that okay, guys?
Yes.
I think we had a good session today. Thanks for. Let me just start playing the outro music. Hang on.
Oh, what have you chosen?
The Divinity Original Sin music. All right.
Haunting.
Thank you, Two-Faced Tan, Apologetic Alsop, and Antagonistic Ayan for our podcast today where we talk about board games. Thanks to our random caller, Akib.
Yes, a random dial-in, a kid.
Yeah, it's just
Still
a
here.
random
What's
child.
up?
Oh, he's still here. He hasn't left the call yet. Someone hang up.
The guy heard someone shit talking Catan. He's like, I smell a foul wind on the horizon.
Bro, that was like the bat signal for me, okay?
You know what triggers, Keith. Okay, so thanks for joining in to our listeners. I guess if you do enjoy the content, please do leave a like, subscribe, or I don't know what it's dumb anyway. Anyway, thanks guys.
You gotta do the call to action. Thanks,
Oh, yeah.
guys. Remember to leave us a like and subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Catch you later, nerds.
You're like, bang that like button.